So this video is more of a confession. Welcome back, and today we're gonna talk about my dahlia dilemmas. If you're new around here, hi, welcome. My name is Chai Ming. I'm a garden designer and educator here in Los Angeles, California, and I have a problem. I get a little too excited about a certain type of plant. A few years ago, I fell in love with dahlias, both from a plant perspective, but also from a business perspective. If you didn't know, I do have an MBA. I went to USC for entrepreneurship, and so I love small business. And with the dahlia, long story short, you can sell the flowers as a cut flower grower. You could sell the plant. You could sell cuttings, you could sell the tubers, and you can even rent out your space when everything's blooming. So if you think about it, that's like 5 different revenue streams at minimum before you add in other potential revenue streams. So as a plant, I found it to be very fascinating. I even put together a dahlia database based on my own collection. I think I was up to about 200 different cultivars at the time, and I burnt myself out on it. So I lost about 90% of my dahlias, and they were collectibles. So I did it not on purpose. It was one of those I just mentally couldn't wrap my brain around my space, getting there. I was burnt out with just doing everyone else's garden. I dug them. I even made a video, and then I never planted them. I even divided them. I labeled them. And then I ran out of steam. So fast forward, this is embarrassing, I did it again. So my big dahlia dilemma is I just need to collect all the ones that are kind of peachy, rosy, rusty. I don't know, all of those colors just grab me, especially if there's a ton of petals, or if it's a water lily type, I'm a sucker. So yeah, I have a dilemma. Luckily, I have quite a few grower friends, but I like to support them, and I have purchased way too many in support, of course, right? And so this video is more of a confession of all the ones I've purchased this year, and I have a problem. Enough of my confessions, let's just show you everything I got. I might even, never mind. So back in February, I was at Northwest Flower Garden Show, and my friend Ro was there, and she gave me her new releases. And this one is Ro Pearly Doll, and it actually already sprouted. This is, I should have planted this already. Ro, if you're watching, I am so sorry. It is still doing really well though, and as you can tell, she packaged it in fine vermiculite. You can see the little sprout right here, and I promise I am going to plant it today. And it's gonna grow really, really well here. I love this one because of like the blush, and you can see how floriferous it is. Okay, so then I'm also testing a couple of top secret ones that have also sprouted. These are not released yet, so I can't tell you about them, but they are healthy, they are happy. So that is Sweet Briar Flowers, is Ro's website if you want to go see, or if you want to follow her on Instagram. At this point of the year, most dahlia sales are done, and you might be able to get a couple cuttings from some growers, but usually tubers are going in the ground by Mother's Day, because people who actually have colder weather, they need to pull their tubers out, or they need to start dividing in the fall to get ready for the next season. But for me, I can overwinter them in pots or in the ground. I actually have had my dahlias bloom in December and January if I left them. And here's a wonderful photo of that. Okay, so those are Ro's. And let's go on to my next confessions. So you might be wondering, like, you have so many plants, why don't you have them planted? I have pots, I have soil. And one of the things I hate the most in gardening is labeling. I don't know what it is. I just have this visceral, like, ugh, I hate labeling. I almost want to hire an assistant to label for me. I don't know if it's the tags. I don't know if it's finding the right pen. By the way, the garden marker, I'll link it for you, but this is the only pen I use to label because it doesn't come off after a long time. If you use a Sharpie, maybe after a season it will wipe off, but this one has been the best one. It lasts a while, you can get a box, and it'll last you for years. So anyway, labeling is the bane of my existence. So this one has Hamilton Lillian, 20th Avenue Softer Peach, Burfoot Eva, and Burfoot Desert Rose. And they are in this, I think it's a compostable bag, but it's labeled. Oh, let me see if I can grab this for you to show you. They are definitely sprouting. They are definitely very happy tubers. And they're each labeled, but the tubers look like this. Look kind of like a potato. And this one looks like Eva. So I'm gonna have to plant her real quick. And I would probably drop her about this deep under this would be the top of the soil. I will most likely start these in pots because I don't have my beds ready for them yet. So that's just from Burfoot, the ones that I have. Okay. And 1, 2, 3, 4. So these I definitely need to label, and that's honestly, that's like the biggest reason I don't plant my plants is I have to label them, because once you plant them, you don't know what it is because it's the written name on the tuber is in the ground. It could come off with the season's watering and soil. So yeah, you might lose it. But anyway, that's a me problem. Let me know if you have that problem. But so here is another one of my issues. I don't know who this is. I forget who this is from. I lost the, I don't know where this one is from, but if you recognize the sticker, let me know. But this is Holly Hill Daydream. And what's interesting about this is it definitely has been trying to grow, and thanks to me and my neglect, it has definitely rotted in certain parts. But you can see right here, there's another tip that's growing, and this one's growing, and this one's growing. So, and there's roots right here. And this one is Holly Hill Daydream. It's like a really beautiful water lily type dahlia. And I have it or had it somewhere in my garden, and I think I lost track of it. So there's a chance I have it. Anything Holly Hill I have to have, especially if it is a water lily, because they have the best one. I have Levi's Melon, new release, and Holly Hill Serenity. Also, this is a must grow. It is a giant water lily, beautiful. And I had it in my garden. I dug it up. The tubers were super skinny. This one is actually very plump, so I'm really excited to see that. And the tuber is very healthy. So I'm gonna definitely need to plant that today. Oh, so much planting to do. And then this one is Levi's Tomato and Levi's Melon. And this one is Cannell's Fizz. Those are just some of the tubers. Don't worry, I have more. But I wanted to shout out my friend Melissa because she grew the best cuttings. These have been potted, and it's nice because she has them printed and labeled, and I didn't have to do it. But this is Levi's Bubblegum. Then I have Florally Guava and Lee's Angelica. Some of these in here are actually from previous seasons. Happy Old Charm, Levi's Kaleidoscope. Who's this? This is Levi's Nara and River Merle Berry Bliss. These are just some of the cuttings. They do need to be pinched and up potted. You can see how much they've been growing in this little, I think this is a 4-inch technically. It looks a little big, but I should pinch them up here, and I could stick it into a little root riot and get another plant out of it. So lots to do. Okay, let's put this guy to the side. The thing with plant lovers and dahlia lovers especially is once we know that you're in deep and it's a weakness for you, we are happy to help. So Melissa actually sent me this one. It's Cannell's Fizz, and I am so excited for this. When I first saw the photo, I was like, nah, I don't need that. But when I saw it in her garden, so I can't wait to have this in my garden. Thanks, Melissa. Okay, so one box done, and I even consolidated, so this is not good. Okay, now here's another. So when you're buying dahlia tubers, you can buy your tubers from anywhere. But when you start collecting and you have problems like I do, you start collecting from smaller growers. They sell cuttings, and when I say smaller growers, it could be from someone who is just starting out in their backyard, or it could be someone who has like an acre or 5 acres, just like a smaller production. It's a family-owned business, not a corporation or some really big farm. I have to look up where I got this from. I tossed all the packaging, so I don't remember. Oh no, and the name popped off. It's somewhere here. But this is also a Holly Hill variety. I know that. I think it's Honey Gold or something like that, unless this one. I think it's Honey Gold or something. But this one flew, and it had to be in what we call a little medium block right here. This is really good to keep things moist. Cuttings are actually just stuck in here, and then the roots start to grow. This grower packaged it the best. She had a moist root riot block, then the paper towel, then this paper to keep it from, leaking all over, and then there was another bag, and then there was a wrapping, and then it was in another bag, and then it was packed into a box. So this one was definitely packaged the best, and all of these materials are recyclable or compostable. So this, I'm actually gonna just leave the paper towel on it for now to keep it moist, and to rehydrate, because it is a little toasty, I'm gonna put a little bit of water. So also, this has been in transit. It might have been in different conditions at her house, and I need to put this in kind of a shaded area, but out here, so it can acclimate and not burn. So I think that one is Honey Glow, and this one is Golden Glow. So I got these 3, and they actually came the other day. I wasn't home, and I forgot. So these are starting to dry out. Before the plant shows too much stress, I want to put it in here. Like you can see the bottom leaves. Ugh. And considering how much these can cost, I want to say these can be anywhere between 30 to 40 each, because they are not a common variety that you can just pick up at the store. So I should take better care of them. But that is also part of my big dahlia dilemma, is these are special varieties that are kind of harder to find. If you find, so tubers that are, from varieties that have been around for a while, you might be able to find some for really cheap, like anywhere between $5 to $20. And anything that is more of a collectible or just came out, you're looking at anywhere between like $35 to $65 for a tuber. And for cuttings, I would say is in that range as well. So now you understand why I've named this the Diabolical Dahlia Dilemma, right? So, and also when you're buying a few at a time, you're like, oh, it's just $100 here. Or, oh, I need to get, to $100 for free shipping. Well, you do that a couple times and then you're in trouble, like me. So this next box is from my friend Camille. And when I was trying to figure out if I wanted to be a flower farmer or not, I turned my front yard, which is not very big, into a teeny tiny nano flower farm. I think I planted over 150 dahlias in a very small space, and I took Camille's tuber class. I don't think she's doing that now. It was a dahlia master class. She's been breeding, she's been growing dahlias for countless of years, and she had a sale. So I wanted to support. Happy Cupid is one that is I have wanted for a while. It is not as rare now, but it is still very, very sought after. Any breeder or any of the ones by the Habit breeder is really popular. This one, everything is starting to sprout. Let's see if I can find the eye. Okay, so this one is Alloway Cottage, and it's like a really nice little yellow. Looks like a whitish yellow. And then this one is, I don't know if it's pronounced Hi Patty, but it's H-Y Patty. I grew this before and I lost her. It was my negligence, but it's already budding up and ready to grow. So these are all things that I have to label. And so when you buy tubers, oftentimes it's months in advance, sometimes it's in the fall, and then when they start to ship in spring, you're like, holy crap. What did I do? I totally forgot to buy. And you start getting these shipping notices and it's like, oh my God, I did it again. So here, this one is Verkiss Tranquility, and also a really great one. And there's the little bud right there. It's kind of hard to see. Let me take it out and show you. Tubers can look all different sizes and shapes. This one tends to be a smaller, skinnier tuber, so it will be harder to store and harvest because you can have a lot of breakage, but she's done a great job here. And right there, you can see that little white nub is going to be the bud, and you're gonna get a full plant out of this little thing. And after a season, you're gonna get a whole clump that you can either leave, which is what I do sometimes, in a pot. Oh, there's actually 2 buds, or 2 eyes coming out of there. And let it grow, or you can harvest your dahlia clump and divide it. You could sell it, you could share the love with your friends. A lot of options. Okay, I wanted to support Camille because this is her release for the year, and it's called Camille's Shortcake. And this is what the tuber looks like, and you can see it's happy. It's got that little, like this clump has, how she divided this one, it has 3 tubers on it. Doesn't matter, you can have just one, you can have a clump like this with a few, but based on the location, it was probably safer to save that eye in the middle. So, very excited for this one. Congratulations, Camille, on your new release. Okay, so that's one more box. And yeah, there's more. Okay, I'm gonna move some of this into the shade right here, just because it's getting a little steamy in here. Okay, now these came from a new to me grower. I think this was her first release this year, but oh, here's the honey gold label. Let me put this on my plant so I don't lose it. So now I know what it is, because it's almost like if you don't know the name, has it lost its value? I don't know. You would have to wait until it blooms to identify. But okay, back to Alex Flower Farm. This is a new to me grower. I think this was her first year, and my friend Panat is friends with her, so I thought I would also support. But this one is very happy, very vigorous. You can see even in the pot, or even in the bag, there's all of these roots starting to grow. So I have to be very careful when I'm handling this. And it's not green because it was in the dark. So this is Lakeview Blush, and big, beautiful flower. Here, Holly Hill Pandora. Again, anything Holly Hill, I'm obsessed. This one is Lee's Chloe, and I can tell already, whew, I gotta be careful. I can't even show it to you. Let's see. It's already starting to sprout. So this really needs to get into the ground, and it needs to get planted. Here is a free one she threw in. It's called Bloomquist Sue. And yep, the eye is starting to wake up. So Bloomquist Sue, Kelgai Ann. Now this one is like a few years ago, everyone was trying to get it. It was one a few years ago that would just fly out of your shopping cart. So I never got to try this one. It is a white water lily. I think there's blush tips, and I have it now. So I'm very excited to try this one. Then there's Lee's Star Child. Now I was very late to her sale. I might have gotten in right at an update and was able to get some of these really good ones. And here, Holly Hill Pink Martini. And again, Holly Hill anything, water lily anything, I'm obsessed. And I think I might have her still, but it is one of those I must have in my collection, and I don't mind having an extra. So I have a lot of labeling to do, but it is toasty in my greenhouse. So what I like about a lot of these smaller growers, this one's from my friend Camille. She has a lovely photo, and then she has like planting care guide, things like that. So she has like upon arrival, what to do, prepare your soil, planting and watering, staking, because these are gonna get, the plants, they start as small tubers, but they will get bigger. And you want to pinch them once it has 3 to 4 sets of leaves. So when they say 3 to 4 sets of leaves, what they're talking about is, this is here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are your 4 sets of leaves. If I were to pinch this with 3 sets, I would be pinching it right here. And then here, I would be starting another plant. So that's what they mean. And if you see like dusting like this in your packaging, most likely it is cinnamon because cinnamon is antifungal and helps keep these tubers fresh. I actually have quite a few other dahlias, but I think I'm gonna leave that for another video. It's getting toasty in here. I need to get these labeled and planted, and I hope you love dahlias as much as me. If you're new to dahlias, welcome. And let me know if you saw anything that you liked. I do grow here in Southern California with a coastal microclimate, meaning my temperatures rarely get over 85. We have a nice marine layer, and even on those hottest days, it's usually about 1 or 2 weeks max for the entire year of getting over 80. With dahlias, they are very frost sensitive, and with my night temperatures really staying above 45 year round, it's a pretty ideal climate to be growing dahlias. I'm really excited because there are more and more Southern California and California in general dahlia growers. And another challenge we have is obviously water. We don't get rain like the Pacific Northwest, although this year I hear they may be having a drought. So we have municipal water, we don't have well water in the more urban areas, and so watering can be an issue. But if you have questions about growing dahlias, let me know in the comments and I'll try to answer them in another video. With that, I'm gonna get planting and labeling, and I'll see you in the next one.